Hey guys, welcome back to the channel guys. It's your boy Sly Lancy back with another Sly Cooper video. I apologize that it took a minute to get another video out guys, but I've just been very tired recently. I'm trying to recover from the jet lag from vacation. So yeah, we are back with another Sly Cooper video, and in today's video guys, we will be talking about the top 10 craziest Neyla moments. Neyla, aka Constable Neyla, is an ally turned antagonist in the Sly Cooper franchise. When we first meet this two-faced beast, she was actually very nice towards us and even helping us with our heist during some of the missions. However, later in the story, we come to find out that she's actually a very conniving, backstabbing person that only cares about what she can get her hands on. During her very short but very memorable time alive, Neyla did a lot of crazy stuff in this franchise that deserves talking about, and for some bizarre reason, I don't know why, but I just had to count up how many moments she had, and it turns out that she actually had 10 moments exactly that I think could be worth talking about. So in today's video about antagonists, we're going to be talking about the top 10 craziest Constable Neyla moments. Number 10. Dancing with us in Starry-Eyed Encounter. Having to whip out a disguise during the party so that no one could detect us, and also having to abide by the dress code, Sly manages to somehow catch Neyla in the party. Even though it took her a minute to see through the disguise, Neyla managed to figure out who we were, but decided not to blow our cover, mainly because, as we'll learn later on this list, she's helping us out. The two then decide to share a dance with each other, mainly through Sly's idea, as a way to lure Carmelita into taking a dance with him later on in the chapter. This moment gets number 10 on the list because as far as other moments on this list, it's not as crazy as some other moments, but it is rather shocking to see Neyla still willing to help us even in public like that and risk blowing her cover as well, along with Sly's as well. And also, not to go too far off topic here, but how the hell does Sly pull off the disguise of just using his bare face, and how nobody, not even Carmelita or Neyla, is able to detect him? Someone answer me that in the comment section. Number 9. Helping us find one half of the Clockwork Heart in the Predator Awakens chapter. The second time in this game where we have to do a follow Neyla type mission, and motherfucker. Technical difficulties, people. I apologize greatly about that. Back to the video now. Yeah, so we have to follow Neyla again. This time, she's trying to lead us to the second half of the Clockwork Heart in a secret location that Rajan keeps hidden. Now, the craziest thing to me about this is 1, how does Neyla know about this secret location? And 2, how does she know that Rajan possibly has another part of the Clockwork Heart? That's the moment where I think we should have clued in on maybe Neyla is a bit more two-faced than we realized, but at the same time, you know, she's trying to help us and we're blinded by her helping us. I mean, Sly even offered to take Neyla out on a date after this whole operation was done, so yeah, that just shows how blinded we were. Number 8. Trying to shoot us down in Canada from the He Who Tames the Iron Horse chapter. During Operation Choo Choo, Sly and the gang have to steal the third and final clockwork part that John-Masan has, which is the stomach. Little did we know, however, that Neyla was also trying to hunt down the stomach as well. Turns out she'd just been watching the whole situation from afar and was looking for the right moment to strike. As Sly's literally walking on top of the train cart, Neyla's getting ready to shoot him down, which leads to Sly having to jump in between the train cart and having to hide there until Neyla gets taken out of the picture. As pesky and stubborn as she gets, it takes us 2 different times to take down Neyla using Bentley's helicopter. Sly Bentley Murray managed to steal the third clockwork part, and he managed to escape from Neyla in an Interpol. Even though it's not as morbid or as sinister as some of the other moments that we're going to talk about with Neyla on this list, still, the very fact that she was willing to shoot us and kill us down just to get the clockwork part shows how far she's willing to go to get something that she wants, even if it means killing the people that she actually considered her allies at one point. Number 7. Stealing the Clockwork Eye from underneath us during a Tangled Web chapter. During what is arguably the greatest operation in franchise history, we get to see just how mischievous, devious, and cunning Neyla is, just the way we are. During our attempt to free Carmelita from the gilded trap that Contessa put her in, we managed to do so after hacking through one of the computer's files in one of the vents where Contessa can't see us. Once we do that, Carmelita chases out the Contessa, and we go to get the Clockwork Eye. However, Neyla, who apparently had been watching this from afar, manages to grab one of the Clockwork Eyes while Bentley has the other one. Neyla goes to run with the Clockwork Eye as Sly goes to chase her down. It's also during this chase that we also learn that Neyla also has a paraglider for some reason, and is also willing to do things like kill us, like this particular moment where she attempts to drop a guillotine on us and decapitate us completely. Luckily for us, however, she gets tangled in a web. No pun intended. But yeah, she gets tangled in a web, and then Contessa knocks her away so that Contessa can get the eye from Sly back. Yeah, this particular moment, it's very, very, like, amazing how, like, Neyla somehow manages to have the one up on us, and this has just been a constant with her throughout the rest of the game after this particular moment, where, like, every time we think we get ahead in something, Neyla is always right there to put a damper on things or attempt to erase our hard work, just so she can get further ahead. Number 6. Indirectly telling us about the Claw Gang during the shadow of a past mission. Here we are at the beginning of Sly 2, Sly, Bentley, and Murray attempting to steal the clockwork parts, but as usual, there's a wrench thrown in the plan because all the clockwork parts have been stolen. Carmelita and her partner in crime, quote-unquote, Constable Neyla, come out of the mummy tombs that they were hiding in to see if they could find the thief responsible, because they expected them to come back to the scene of the crime. Sly, obviously confused because he didn't steal anything yet, was wondering what happened to the clockwork parts, but then Carmelita reveals to them that someone already stole the parts and she was accusing the Cooper gang of doing it. However, Constable Neyla lets it slip that the way the guards were killed and the point of entry leads to everything being the Claw Gang, being the ones responsible for this heist. Sly, being confused and yet interested by the slip of the tongue that Neyla just dropped on them, ends up escaping the museum with Bentley and Murray in order to find the Claw Gang, with Carmelita chasing right behind them. This moment is crazy because of what we learn later on in the game, because when we first hear this, you don't make anything of it. You just think that Neyla is attempting to just help the Cooper gang, which is later revealed to be true later on in the mission. But then, when we get to the end of the game, we're going to talk about a moment that really tied everything all together. But it was just crazy because of how well it tied everything together. Number 5. Helping us in Paris during the Black Chateau chapter from Sly 2. Tying into the last entry, and basically how she let slip that the Claw Gang may be responsible for this heist, the Cooper Gang attempt to use Neyla's slip of her tongue to figure out each and every location of the Claw Gang and steal back every clockwork part possible. However, during his attempt to figure out the whole situation in Paris, Neyla manages to run across Sly. However, instead of arresting him, she chooses to help him find the clockwork parts and help him with the different locations in the areas that the Claw Gang may be in. The pure fact that an officer of the law is willing to work with a thief in order to capture another thief is very, very, like, it's one of those, like, mind-off type things where, like, it shows how corrupt Interpol is, but also shows how intelligent they are too, if that makes sense. And also, this doesn't get talked about enough, but Neyla's ability to manipulate and persuade people to follow her is really a very, very underrated talent in this entire franchise. I just don't think it gets talked about enough. Number 4. Scamming her way into college according to the Sly 2 instruction manual. So yeah, Neyla scammed her way into a British university, and while she was there, she ended up using her powers of persuasion and manipulation to get other students to do her work for her. How she used the powers, I don't know, and don't even bother asking me how she did it, but given that she's a relatively beautiful tigress, I can pretty much assume that there was a whole lot of simping for her. Unfortunately for Neyla, however, she was eventually caught with this homework ring that she was running, and I assume that she got expelled from college and was potentially about to be arrested by Interpol. But Interpol was actually very impressed with Neyla's ability to persuade people and manipulate them into doing what she wanted, so they decided to use her as a way of getting inside the criminal's mind. So they offered her a job at Interpol and put her to work with Carmelita and the Contessa. According to the booklet, given that Neyla was very poor growing up, I like to think that she used that to her advantage to make people feel sorry for her, and then used it as a way to get into college by basically getting free tuition, free food, and all that stuff. I like to think that's how she managed to get into it. But the fact that she did it so seamlessly, and the fact that she got so many people to fall for her tricks, is very crazy. And what makes this moment even more crazy is that even despite the fact that she got caught doing something highly illegal, she still ended up getting rewarded with a job, because the authorities were so impressed that she was able to pull the wool over so many intelligent people's eyes. Number 3. Betraying the Cooper gang during the Predator Awakens chapter. If you played this game for the very first time and this moment came to you, it was very out of left field. But when you study up on the game a little bit more, we should have seen this coming, like I stated many times in this video. But it doesn't change the fact of how shocking it was when it happened. Neyla up until this point had been such a very good ally and help towards us that we really never thought of her actually betraying us or throwing us under the bus. But she showed her true colors in this very moment. So we're trying to stop Rajan and get the other half of the Clockwork Heart. And just when we think we're about to get it with the help of Neyla, Neyla leaves us behind, leaving us to fend Rajan by ourselves. So Sly ends up getting concussed as to where Rajan goes to fight Murray. Neyla from the background is watching all this unfold, basically just laughing evilly to herself because she knows she has the Cooper gang and Rajan in the act. After Murray defeats Rajan, Neyla brings over Carmelita and the Contessa to arrest the Cooper gang and Rajan. But then also we get a double whammy in this moment because Neyla throws Carmelita under the bus, framing her for a crime that she didn't even commit. The only reason she gave away Carmelita was to get her out of the picture so that she can go after the Clockwork parts herself, without someone catching on to what she did. In arguably the most shocking moment in this entire franchise, it's just hard to comprehend why Neyla would just do this to us like this. Cause like, we thought that we was really like becoming very close allies, and I'll even say friends with her. She done everything she can to help us, and we tried to help her as many times as we could too. So just the simple fact that she threw us under the bus, all for possession and gain in life, really was heartbreaking for us, and it's one of the main factors that motivated us to stop Neyla at any cost. Number 2. Stealing the Clockwork Frame for herself and killing Arpeggio in the Anatomy for Disaster chapter. After having all their hard work pretty much erased because John Bassan was much smarter than any of them anticipated, the Cooper gang has to figure out how to get onto Arpeggio's ship. So they go inside one of the battery stations that Arpeggio uses to pick up and charge his blimp with, and they manage to sneak onto Arpeggio's blimp. Sly goes to see where the Clockwork parts are at, and in an attempt to basically destroy the parts or make sure they can't come together, in a weird, strange twist of fate, the magnetic field somehow managed to pull the parts together even after being destroyed, allowing whoever so desired to go inside the frame and become the new Clockwork. Neyla and Arpeggio go to see who caused this chaos, which obviously was Sly of all people, and after having a brief conversation about how they're trying to make Clockwork immortal, Sly figures out that they're gonna unleash a hypnotic light show of hate to power Clockwork to make him immortal. Upon revealing the plan to Sly, Arpeggio attempts to have Neyla watch over Sly as he enters the Clockwork Frame. However, due to either not knowing what had happened throughout the entire game or just not caring enough to think about it, Neyla betrays Arpeggio by knocking him over and then going inside the Clockwork Frame for herself, making herself Clockler. And she ends up killing Arpeggio right in front of Sly and ends up going outside of the blimp in order to charge herself so that she can become immortal. She was supposed to be the protege for Arpeggio, the same way that Anakin Skywalker was supposed to be the protege for Palpatine. However, much like the Anakin before he got cut up, Neyla basically wanted that power all for herself and was willing to kill anybody to get to it, even if it meant killing her master, quote unquote. This was very, very shocking to see, but at the same time, it's also in Neyla's character to do something like this as well. Going back to basically what she's been doing since she scammed her way into college. Manipulate people into getting what she wants, and then when she doesn't need them anymore, dump them right afterwards. This moment could have easily gotten #1 on the list, but then I thought about another moment that's more messed up than this one, in all honesty, and basically how much more of an impact it had on the franchise as a whole. That's why I ranked it higher than this one, and I'm sure most of you know it. But first, we're going to do a recap, and then we're going to get to the #1 spot on that list. Okay, so basically, since there's no other Neyla moments in this game or in the franchise, and everything else is either fan theories or just made up ideas that people have, we're just gonna go straight to the #1 spot on this list. Crippling Bentley in the Anatomy for Disaster chapter. After managing to destroy the whole ship, Sly and the gang manages to fight Carmelita in the air. However, Neyla, obviously being very upset that she's about to die, ends up trying to kill Bentley and Murray while they're inside the safe house. Sly manages to stop Neyla from carrying the safe house, and they all fall into Paris. Luckily, this manages to stop the hypnotic light show from happening because the clockwork parts are unable to fly out of the ground. Neyla is about to explode. However, they need to get the hate chip from inside because that's what's creating and holding Clockwork together. So Bentley goes to receive the hate chip, and Neyla, in one final act of vengeance, drops the beak on Bentley, crippling his legs. Murray manages to save Bentley from this, and they all escape with the hate chip as the Clockwork parts explode. Neyla destroys the hate chip, and Neyla dies along with Clockwork, thanks to the hate chip destroying the immortality of the bird. Of all the crazy things that Neyla did in this franchise, I was very, very close to putting Killing Arpeggio as the #1 spot on this list, but Bentley's crippling just left so much of a mark on this franchise in general, because Bentley now is forever stuck in a wheelchair, and Murray left the gang for a while because he was so mentally broken by the situation. And on top of that, you can even say that Sly and Carmelita also were mentally affected by this as well, because now Sly probably has nightmares and fever dreams just thinking about what could have happened if they just saved Bentley in time, or if they just never bothered with clockwork parts in the first place. And Carmelita now probably has to live with the reality of, like, this man is so scarred for life, how am I going to be able to fix him? So all those little things and tidbits that we can go into makes this moment #1 on this list for me personally. After doing these 10 entries and rereading everything and just learning to go a bit more in depth in a character, I've come to realize that Neyla really is one of the most complex characters in this entire franchise. Even a bit more complex than Carmelita, I would say. Because, like, there were so many things about her to love, but there are also so many things about her to hate. And you just can't help but hate her more every time she does something bad and awful. It's almost like when Anakin turned into Darth Vader in the Star Wars franchise, where, like, there are little things that turn Anakin dark that are just right in front of you, and there are also things that are, like, you don't really see, but if you think about it, it makes sense why he turned to the dark side. With Neyla, it was like, if you saw the things that she did and thought about it a bit further, we should have seen the betrayal coming with her. We should have seen her betraying us so that she could get farther ahead in life. We've seen it when she did it in college, and we've seen it when she did it with Interpol, which would lead to what eventually led to, you know, killing Arpeggio just so she could take the Clockwork Frame for herself so she could achieve immortality. It's just, again, I'd wish that they had gone a bit further into why she wanted immortality, because it just kind of came abruptly. But again, this doesn't change the fact that Neyla is still one of the most complex characters in this franchise, and maybe we'll just never know why she wanted immortality in the first place. But either way, Neyla is one of the most powerful characters in this entire franchise, and I'd even argue that in some ways, she's better than Clockwork as a villain. While someone who may not be purely evil, but definitely purely for herself. And it is with that, guys, that we are done with today's video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thought it was a nice little change of pace. Plus, I saw how many people really love the protagonist saga. So I'm going to attempt to continue this with the antagonist saga. And I'm going to try to find more antagonists to do. It may be hard because not everybody has as many moments as these characters like Sly, Bentley, Murray, Carmelita. And I don't know how I managed to get 10 with Neyla. But again, I'm going to try to do more videos like this with the antagonists. I'm going to see if I can do a Clockwork one. And if not, I'm going to see if I can just find every villain's best and worst moment and just make a video out of that. But other than that, guys, hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's your boy Sly Lancy, and I'll see you guys next time.